it's a class, to read the whole introduction of Maharaj. So I'll just take courage to speak. So His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj is an initiating guru within the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, as well as is the member of Spiritual Advisors Bhagavad Assembly, a partner of the Governing Body Commission. So His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj, Swami Maharaj, has spent over 35 years as a monk in full-time service for propagating the message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. So he joined ISKCON in Lagos, Nigeria in 1984, and he was initiated by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj in 1986. So he has steered many projects in the early days of the movement in West Africa under the order of his spiritual master. Namely, in only a few months after Maharaj's initiation, he became a member of the management committee and later the president of Lagos State chapter of ISKCON, where he oversaw the temple construction of ISKCON Lagos. In 1990, His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj served as regional secretary for Nigeria and the West African sub-region. In February 2009, he received sannyas initiation, renounced order of life from His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj in Mayapur, India. Hari Bol. Since then, he has been traveling all over the globe preaching the sublime message of love and devotion to Krishna. He possesses the very unique is that our philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Maharaj presents it to the very elite class of scholars, philosophers, and the teachers of the whole world in many universities. So one of the many roles Maharaj has undertaken in his devotional life to foster profoundly personal relationships with his young mentees, whom he guides in their spiritual and professional journeys. His Holiness encourages young devotees to be grounded in spiritual practices while developing their professional skills for a sustainable Krishna conscious future, individually and collectively. Maharaj has touched, inspired and transformed many lives. Maharaj is also very well scholared and has read many of the books to present Krishna conscious philosophy to many of the universities, especially. Maharaj holds a PhD in Applied Management and Decision Sciences from Walden University in Minneapolis, USA. So it adds to his credit more than 35 publications Maharaj has presented in international, academic and peer-reviewed journals. Maharaj also incorporates Vaishnava Vedanta philosophy into mainstream secular academic models and proposes creative and spirituality-based solutions to current socio-politic management and leadership programs. So Maharaj also received many of the awards from ISKCON Society. Is regularly invited to present at major international conferences across the globe. In February 2005, he got invitations to present his research reports at 5 academic conferences in the United States, and afterwards served in ISKCON of New Jersey as Pujari while continuing with his academic preaching. Later, he became a United States citizen by naturalization. Maharaj travels to educate diverse audiences on the values of love, peace, unity and diversity, self-realization, social justice and positive change, community development, conflict resolution, and organizational leadership. So there are many, research papers that Maharaj has published. So it's our great honor that Maharaj has taken out his time. He's come here. So the papers that Maharaj has published on the international level is so unique that people, somewhere on the other side of the globe, for the references when they go through the papers that has been presented by the Maharaj, they come in touch and understand how deep and valuable the Krishna consciousness and they are connected to Krishna consciousness. It's so encouraging for us to see this. So let us all welcome His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj by one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So those who need Hindi translation, our Hemang Haldar Prabhu will be doing. So requesting those devotees who need Hindi translation to please sit with him. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Radha
Jai Radha Manjari
ISKCON Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. Jaya Vasupadma Parivrajavachari, Astotra Star System of Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kahao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Jara Sri Dasari Sigora Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath, Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Girikvata Ki Jai, Subhanava Dham Ki Jai, Simayapana Dham Ki Jai, Sujaganapura Dham Ki Jai, Gandamaya Gandamaya Ki Jai, Samatatosa Deva Bhakta Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Devi Ki Jai, Nitai Good Pimana. Our glories to the Samudra. Our glories to the Samudra. Our glories to the Samudra. Our glories to the Sikora Gora. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Vanda Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodaka, Buddhadaya Prasthata, Chita Chaitanya, Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Sri Vasudeva Swami. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Gosvaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Nityananda. Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gaura Bhakti Katani, Adeva Shesa Sandhivadi, Asachara Dasatara. So, I was requested, or I was instructed to give to come to hang out with all of you to share some things on the glories of the Holy Name. So, the Holy Name, the culture of the Holy Name, the distribution of the Holy Name, and the chanting of the Holy Name. This is the main business of the devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Our life begins with chanting the Holy Names. The middle of our life is chanting of the Holy Names. And at the end, we are expected to remember the Holy Name, to chant the Holy Name. So, what is the motivation for this? Why we have to do this? Because of the unlimited glories of the Holy Name. So when we talk about the glories of the Holy Name, in fact I was searching through the database, and there was a specific chapter in the second chant, which is derived from sixth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, what chapter is that? Chapter 2 of the sixth canto, about this, all of you, I will not say all of you, I have not conducted the study. Most of you, I'm sorry. Because if I say all of you, then it means I've conducted some research and I'm making some conclusion. I did not conduct any research, so I cannot make a generalized statement. All of you is a generalized statement. So I would say I would prefer to use the choice of many of you, or more than a few of you or a number of you like that. I'm sorry, to know too much also is a little bit is a problem. So, many of you are conversant with the story of Ajamil when we talk about the glories of the Holy Name. Ajamil was a person who traded on the part of Bhakti, traded on the devotional part, or was involved in some sadhana practices, devotional practices, spiritual practices. And he has some problems. So when he has some problems, like literally fell off from the path. And when in the process of raising the family, he named one of his children, one of his kids, Narayan. Is that correct? Yeah. He named one of his kids Narayan. Jamil is very smart. You know, a devotee does not need to be very smart, you know. So he named one of his kids Narayan, and you see, names of Krishna or names of Vishnu in India is very common. And that is why even today I was mentioning to some devotees I met who went for a meeting with some, some devotees in Bangalore here. And one of the things I was speaking to his friends and his family members is about the glories of being born in India. Being born in India is such an auspicious, occasion, it's an auspicious event. Yeah, many people are born in India and they are not exposed to the Vaishnava culture. Still they're lucky because at least they've been exposed to or some understanding or some millions of Krishna right from childhood. In India, it's very common if you give an Indian gentleman Bhagavad Gita, you say, oh, I know Bhagavad Gita. I read Bhagavad Gita. So, this is a great virtue. And therefore, the whole of a number of the Vedic tales or Vedic stories, or a number of even Krishna's pastimes, Ramchandra's pastime, Ramayana, stories of the Mahabharata, typical of people born here, they're constant with it. So you can't really say that they are not devotees. In fact, ultimately everyone is a devotee. Some are in a veiled state, like they're circumscribed in some curtains. They can see what is on the other side. But those who are read the Vedic literatures, especially the Bhagavad Puran, the Bhagavatam, you'll find amazing stories. And one of them is Ajamil's story. And Ajamil, or how do you pronounce it? Ajamila? Ajamil. I'll make a request. I'm sorry. If you have a phone, help us to put it on you know what I mean. Huh?
Silent.
Okay. Silent. It's not me saying it. What's the name? Papa? Vijay. Vijay said, we should put our phones on silent. Is that correct? Okay. So, Ajamil is a typical case, and the story is not just there for fun. It is there to reinforce our conviction, our faith in chanting Krishna's holy names. Because we want to see, if we want to follow a particular system, we want to do something, the very first question that arises is, what is there for me? Is it not? What am I going to gain? We ask me to chant the holiness, but what am I going to get? So the case of Ajahn is a typical case where, although he had some challenges in his early life, in his cultivation of bhakti, but his pious credits also enabled him to name one of his kids, young kids, Narayan. Narayan is another name of Vishnu. So at the time of his death, when the Yamadutas came to snatch the soul away from the core of his heart, and Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna had mentioned that the soul is located in our heart rhythm. So, reply. It's this, the jiva is located in the heart rhythm. So at the time of death, it's just a little background. At the time of death, there are these Yamadutas, or the followers of Yamaraj, servants of Yamaraj, who come to take the jiva, or the living entity, the soul, to Yamaraj. Take the soul to make some arrangement for their next existence. So these Yamadutas, they came because they know Ajahn was a sinful person. He wasn't involved in sinful activities. See, so it's like the cops come around because they have some reports that, oh, this person did like this person did like this, and there was some documentation. So when the cops come, they can do some funny things. They handcuff you, and whatever, take you to their station for questioning, intimidation, whatever. And sometimes they put you in this cell to prepare for your next phase of existence. So the Yamadutas also, they were acting on behalf of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is the superior of death. He judges people when people die. The soul of the living embodied souls, they are brought before him for judgment. And he has his own secretary. What's his name? Chitragupta. So, you see, we may be smart, we commit some crime, and we have lawyers who can just, Papa would say, could juggle words and get us, free us. And when you're freed when you discharge him from the court, it doesn't mean that he didn't commit offense, he didn't commit a crime. You can commit a crime, and there is materialistic, and there is some discrepancy in the adjudication of the case, in the prosecution witness, how they present the case. Take for instance, prosecution witness 1 says you fought in the lobby. Prosecution witness 2 says you fought in the sitting room. You see the complication with our own laws? Yamaraj's laws are not like that. So here, your lawyer will say, you said, my lordship, there is a discrepancy in this prosecution witness. This person says they fought inside the sitting room, the other one says they fought in the veranda or whatever. So the judge discharges you. It doesn't mean that you didn't commit the crime. You fought, but the case was not handled properly. Yamaraj's case is not like that. But there was a problem even with Yamaraj. Because when Ajamil was dying, he had a lot of affection for his little son, Narayan. And so he called him Narayan. He said, Narayan, come here, I am dying. As soon as, and at that time, the Yamadutas were already around to snatch his soul away, to take him for judgment. As soon as the Vishnu Dutas heard Narayan, immediately they came by. And when they came by, they saw the Yamadutas trying to snatch Ajamil. And they said, no, you stop. And so there was a little bit of verbal altercation, some argument. And eventually when they get back to Yamaraj, they said, this is our encounter. So how is that? Someone is greater than you? So Yamaraj gave them a whole lesson about Vishnu Dutas. In fact, in one of those statements of Prabhupada, he mentioned that Yamaraj implied that those people, Vaishnavas, they are dangerous as far as execution of your service is concerned. Don't get close to them. Don't near them at all. So devotees are dangerous to Yamaraj. What makes it dangerous? Because it's called obstruction to justice. The devotees become like obstruction to execution of justice being implemented by Yamaraj. And so he told the Vishnu Duta and the Yama Dutas that, those guys, are they devotee? No, just leave them alone. They're special people. And there's a lot of description there about the holy name. How if someone chants the holy name, and in fact there was Papa made a reference quote from the Puranas, how one chants the holy names, even offensively. In Ajahna's case was such that he did not invoke Lord Vishnu, he didn't invoke Lord Narayan. He called his son. But Krishna's name or Narayan's name and his form, they're not different. And it takes a lot of pious merit, Krita, Punya Punja, to be able to even remember Krishna at the time of death. To remember Krishna's name at the time of death. One may argue that Ajahn did not really remember Krishna at the time of death. He called his son. So we can see the power, the potency of the holy name. I mean, it's like, someone does something without taking cognizance about the value or the importance of what they're doing. Or someone puts their hand into fire. He didn't know that fire burns. Or he does not even believe that fire burns, but he put his hand into the fire, fire burns. So the holy name is like that. And the whole idea of devotional life is for us to cultivate knowledge about the glories of the holy name. To cultivate how to chant the holy names purely. In fact, I already some of these comments or quotes of Prabhupada when we went to Haridas Thakur's Prabhu's cultural exhibition, art gallery exhibition. And one of them probably said, the holy name is so powerful. What is required is that you chant purely and you can experience amazing things. So here, Ajahn did not even chant, was it not purely, because he was not chanting Krishna's name, he was chanting his son's name. But it had the same effect. He was liberated. So now to speak of one who remembers Krishna consciously at the time of death and chants his glories. And so the process we are following is evidence. The glories of the process we are following is evidence in the benefits that Ajahn derive from chanting the holy name of the Lord. So when someone asks, what would I gain from chanting these holy names? The case of Ajahn is a typical example of how one can become salvaged from the ocean of material existence by chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. Now, how many people here don't chant on daily basis the holy names of the Lord? How many people are not able to cultivate chanting daily? Okay, so how many people I'm chanting every day. Raise up your hand, let's see. You know chanting every day? Gentlemen. You know chanting? Oh, okay. We are being humble. Okay. All right, okay. So, and sometimes we think that the chanting does not do anything to us. Why should I waste my time chanting? I met somebody like that today. Yeah, sometimes we think, I've been looking for a nice wife for a long time. I'm trying to push all this time. Stop laughing. And I've seen people who stop chanting because they feel that they don't have taste. I remember I went to one temple once in the US, I was traveling in the US, the West Coast. And so I went to Portland. And then the president of that temple is what do you call it? A cancer doctor, medical doctor, specialized in cancer. And so the wife told me their daughter is not chanting. Their daughter stopped chanting. She's 16 at that time. When she was younger, she was chanting. So, our process is there is no loss or diminution if you stop chanting at a particular time. Krishna takes cognizance of what you have done. And you may remember Krishna like I may remember. But we should not take a risk. Shall we take a risk? No. So you agree with that, we should not take a risk. It's unnecessary risk. Risk is what they can bear. This one is unnecessary risk. So the mother of this girl told me, I should speak to her. So I said, all right. What should I speak to her about? She said, encourage her to chant. So she was there. The husband's mother was also there in the sitting room. So I was speaking to this girl. So I asked her, your mom is worried. Your father is the manager of this temple here. And so if you're not chanting, how is your father going to encourage other young people to chant? And so she told me something. She said, yes, she stopped chanting because she didn't have taste for chanting. She was not experiencing taste. Ruchi was not coming. So I asked her, sometimes when you're talking to someone and then the interaction becomes, just natural flow, questions also come, responses also come. So I asked her, okay, you are a young girl going to school. Do you have taste in going to school? You have taste in going to school? She said no. And then the mother of this girl she busted out laughing. I said, Mataji, why are you laughing? She said, Mara, you hit the nail on the head. I said, explain what you mean. She said that this girl, when she goes to school and comes back, she said, when the girl goes to school and comes back, returns from school, first thing she does is to come straight to her room, to the mother's room, and chastise the mother heavily. You just sent me to school to go and suffer, and you're here sleeping and eating. So she said she will ask her that, suppose I did not go to school, would I have had the opportunity to marry a father who is a medical doctor? So she said that the girl, her answer was very correct. That's what she does. She doesn't really have interest in going to school. So I said, so you don't have taste in going to school. Why are you going to school then? She said, for the future, for her future, for her developmental future. I said, the same thing here. Although right now you don't have the taste for chanting, but the taste will come with practice in the future. Ruchi doesn't come overnight. That's how I was able to convince her to go back to chanting. So, the point we try to establish here is that sometimes we have some type of challenges and we feel we should just stop this chanting because the chanting is not effective, it's not really helping us. Now, one experiment you can make is, if you've been chanting for years and you feel the chanting is not helping you, take a break for 1 week and see what happens to you. Take a break. And you see what happens. So, the point is that the chanting works. It helps to purify us. It helps to raise our consciousness. It helps us in so many ways. The side effects, the positive side effects, every intervention, every medication, every therapy has side effects. If someone has cancer, they are undergoing some chemotherapy treatment. The chemotherapy, for some people, they lose their hair. So the chanting is also an intervention, it's a spiritual intervention. But spiritual interventions don't produce any negative side effects. You get what I'm saying? So the chanting does not produce any negative side effect. It does have positive side effects. For instance, those who are chanting sincerely, one of the side effects is mental health. They're happy. Happiness is a mental health phenomenon. Because the opposite of happiness is that you're sad, you're depressed, so whatever. And you're depressed, you could see a psychiatrist for medication. That's a mental health. So, our slogan, our very common slogan is chant and what? Yeah. And be happy. And yeah, when we are chanting, we become happy. And if you stop chanting, you become sad. To attain Krishna Prema, which is the ultimate goal of the chanting, could be challenging. But these positive side effects, we experience it. The day you wake up to chant very early in the morning, you are just vibrant all through, going to work, go to different services, you are so happy doing everything. You become, very much inspired to do everything. The days that somebody or other, the mind takes control and says that you should not chant. They should just sleep all through the day. Or whatever. Those days you feel very unmotivated, you feel uninterested in doing anything, and you don't feel joyous within yourself. And so the chanting does help us in building or promoting mental health. Happiness. Happiness, we think it's just a simple thing, but people have to go for medication to be free from depression. They have to undergo so much of struggle just to have a leverage from depressive feelings. And here we are, we're chanting the Holy Name. I mean, you tell me, you go to some place and early in the morning, you go to some home and early in the morning, they're not devotees and all, they're dancing and singing and dancing. And this festival goes on every morning in our temple. And sometimes people see devotees dancing, singing and dancing on the road. They think that the devotees are taking some drugs. But we don't take drugs. It's just the positive side effect of the chanting. So, anyway, we don't want to go back to God. At least, majority of people want to be happy in this world. I wouldn't say everybody wants to be happy, because again, I've not conducted any competitive research. So, but then essentially, materially speaking, the chanting is very glorious. Spiritually speaking, the chanting is very glorious. Because materially speaking, we have a lot of positive side effects. Like happiness, for those who are schooling, they have better concentration. I was conducting research some time ago with undergraduate students. And a number of them that I tell you, they said, comparing regarding their grades were better off. The grades improved tremendously when they started cultivating chanting, as compared to prior to the period before they were chanting. So again, it's not like a storytelling. Experiments have been conducted, and one devotee, David Wolf, I think it's a proper disciple, he conducted some. David Wolf, is it proper disciple? The one who conducted a research on the effect of the Hare Krishna mantra on stress and depression of the gunas. Any of you is familiar with that? The effect of the Hare Krishna mantra on stress, depression, and the gunas. You heard of that? That was a PhD dissertation at the University of Florida, Gainesville. You could Google this on the web. The effect of the Hare Krishna mantra on stress, depression, and the gunas. So a lot of work has been done on the Maha Mantra, materially speaking, material scientifically speaking. And also I've read recently, and I made it that I used that reference in one of my recent works. Some professors from the Chennai area, right here in India, they conducted some research on the effect of the Hare Krishna mantra on stress amongst nurses.
David B. Wolf.
Huh?
David B. Wolf.
David B. Wolf.
His name is Dheer Govind.
Oh yeah, there are good. So, a lot of scientific research has been conducted on the mantra that we are chanting. And the effects are amazing. So, it is not something that, we say, oh, you believe or I don't believe. Science has nothing to do with belief system. In fact, science helps us to support our belief system by dint of data that has been provided. So much of work has been done on the Hare Krishna mantra by devoted scientists. And therefore, the case of Ajamir is just a typical spiritual case where we should be more convinced and become more faithful in why we are doing what we are doing. And the chanting, for us to really feel the effect or the impact, positive impact of the chanting, every morning we read 10 offenses, right? Those 10 offenses, they are serious. It's a serious business. We have to meticulously avoid those 10 offenses. Conscientiously avoid those 10 offenses. Otherwise, attaining Krishna Prema becomes a mirage in the forest, or in the desert. In other words, most improbable. But if we follow meticulously avoiding those 10 offenses, and we're chanting, and we should have a time to chant, maybe 2 hours. So for some people, the chanting system lasts is 2 hours. And here in the temple, you have a very nice system. After the japa, you chant till 7:30 before you have your daily ritual. So you could finish your japa, you have 16 rounds, basic 16 rounds, which is a progressive march towards ruchi, towards taste for the holy name. And when you have taste for the holy name, oh, you're crazy about the holy name, you want to chant all the time. So, But we need to be able to regulate our lives in such a way that we can appreciate what Prabhupada has given to us. And Prabhupada dedicated his life to serving the orders of the spiritual master. He traveled all over the world distributing the holy names. Think about it. Someone travels all over the whole world to distribute this mantra, the holy names. So that chanting the mantra or chanting the Narayan's name, even not deliberately, saves someone. It's not a surprise, because if it is not that potent, the sages of yore wouldn't have emphasized so much. Krishna wouldn't have emphasized so much. Krishna mentions that of all sacrifices is japa. And so when we're chanting the japa, we are performing some sacrifice. And performing sacrifice means we concentrate on that. And just like I mentioned the other day, the chanting, if we really make it a priority in our lives, it creates a lot of positive difference. We just need to allot a particular time to our chanting process. And for the devotees who are living in the temple, you're lucky, at least in the morning, you have a chance to be able to chant till 7:30. In most cases, some of you wait before 4:30, before 4 o'clock. And so before 7:30, you have already finished the first 60 rounds. But you guys say first 60 rounds, because the 60 rounds, Prabhupada said, is the minimum. And so, but don't think that, chanting 60 rounds is even an easy thing, because some people are not able to make it. So it's not that we are chanting, we know we have understood the glories of the holy name, we know the benefits of chanting the holy name, and someone in the family is not chanting, and we become upset, we become angry. But, for one to come to this platform, it takes a lot of accumulated pious merit. Krita, punya. A lot of accumulated pious merit. Just because we are doing it doesn't mean that it's simple for everybody. So, the Bhagavatam, the 6th chapter 2, it gives us fundamental understanding of how this chanting is so powerful, and it can save us from the onslaught of samsara. We just need to practice how to be able to do it with devotion and with faith. It means that we need to understand what is Nama Prabhu, what is the holy name. Holy name is not different from Krishna. So suppose Krishna comes physically to you, would you be having time to do other things? Okay, I ask you this. If Krishna comes physically to you, would you put your phone before you and Krishna? Would you put your phone in front of him? Would you put your phone in front of you expecting some calls are coming? And Krishna is standing there. The globalization and the modern electronic gadget systems is good. We can use it to do a lot of things. But it's also giving us a lot of distraction. So, Krishna is so important in our lives. Chanting of the holy name is so important. And for me, see, when I want to chant, my phone will be like several miles away. Oh yeah. Because my first business will be to communicate with Krishna, to dialogue with Krishna, to petition Krishna. Every other type of relationship, any other type of call, remains secondary. So, we should cultivate the habit of the chanting in the morning as our priority, and chanting and concentrating as a priority. We should not think, oh, because I chanted inattentively and he got liberation. Well, Krishna Bhakta, Krishna is also there. So whatever I do, Krishna will come to bless me. And so when we conscientiously focus on Krishna's name, Krishna's attention will be invoked. Just like Ajamir chanted Krishna's name and he attracted the mercy of the Lord. So we are practicing. I would say we are practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, practitioners of chanting Krishna's holy name. You know what a practitioner means? You can have a law degree. If you're not practicing, you're not called a legal practitioner. You can have a medical degree. If you're not practicing, you're not called a medical practitioner. You're called a doctor. There's a difference. Medical practitioner means one who is practicing medicine. A doctor means one who has a medical degree. A legal practitioner means one who has a law degree and is practicing law. You have a law degree, it's one thing. Are you practicing? Because there are some people who have a law degree and they choose to become businessmen. Some people, I've also seen people who have medical degrees, doctors, they graduate from medical school, and they resort to business. They prefer to do business. And so it is important for us to understand, as practitioners of Nama Prabhu, practitioners of the holy name, we have to give time to the holy. And during that time should be exclusively for the holy name, for communicating with Krishna. When we chant it, it's like we are on the phone with Krishna, we're dialing Krishna. In America, if you're on the phone, even the children, your children at home, if someone comes, another member of the family will say, hey, don't leave, he's on the phone. It's so important. They don't want someone to disturb you. So when we are chanting, we should not allow external agencies to distract our attention. We should not allow external agencies to enable distraction from concentration on the holiness. Because that would prolong our practice to perfection. And to attain Krishna prema becomes a difficulty. The mantra works. It works for Jamil. And we can see evidently the result. It works for other folks. It's just that in most cases we have not realized how it works for us in amazing ways. But it does work for us in amazing ways. And so every time and every day that we come, we sit down to chant Krishna's holy names. We should understand we are on the phone with Krishna. And we shouldn't allow someone or anything else to distract us. After the 2 hours or 1.5 hours of your japa, you have the rest of the 22 hours for yourself. I remember, I don't know whether I told this story here. In Michigan, I had a friend, and he told me this story. He got married. He's an Indian guy. He came to India, got married to an Indian girl. He took her to America. But the lady, she was not a Vaishnava, but certainly she follows some vegetarian lifestyle and other things like chanting Krishna's name. No. So she was like addicted to watching movies till late in the night, reading newspapers till late in the night. So the husband kept petitioning her, to follow what he's doing, acting. The husband at that time was also new in the Western life, so he was chanting 8 rounds. He was chanting 8 rounds. And then he kept petitioning the wife to follow, to chant, and all those things. So the woman thought, well, this is my husband, for better or for worse. I'm going to be with him. And what he's doing is perfect, very, very perfect for this family. So what is wrong with me that I cannot, I'm not able to build up my determination to help him following up with what he's doing. So one day she decided, all right, I must follow this. So she started chanting that with 16 rounds. So she was chanting 16 rounds for a pretty while. Husband was still chanting 8 rounds. So one day, she sat the husband down and then educated him. She said, see, Krishna gave you 24 hours. And now he wants just 2 hours from you. He gave you 24 hours free. He's not charging you for anything. And now he wants only 2 hours from you. And you are saying that you will think about it. That's literally what you imply, that you will think about it. I mean, it's like someone gave you 24 crore rupees. And he becomes bankrupt. And then he says, can he help me? My family is suffering like anything. Can you give me 2,000 rupees? And then you tell the person, I will think about it. He gave you 24 crores of rupees to start a business and you become very rich. So the wife educated the husband that, what you're doing is really miserly. So the husband told me, right from that day, he started chanting 16 rounds. So they're very much transformed, and your child is the best student in America. She's got at 17 years old, she already got second initiation from Bhakti Swami Maharaj. And she's the best, literally the best behaved amongst in the whole of our school. So the bottom line is that this little girl who is chanting, her behavior is completely different. The chanting is a behavior modification agent. A behavior modification agents. It helps to modify our behavioral pattern in a positive way. How is that? Young people, when they're growing up, if they are not inclined in chanting, they can become involved in so many horrible walks of life. Activities that they may even blame themselves or feel sorry for themselves. But the chanting helps to purify the senses, that it brings one to the platform of rejecting anything that is harmful to one's social, professional, and spiritual. We don't have the strength. It is the chanting that gives us that strength. And so it is important. We have an opportunity in Kali Yuga. The process, the Yuga Dharma is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya, who inaugurated this Yuga Dharma, is so beneficent, is so liberal. He did not make and did not put any condition. He's an unconditional lover. Do whatever you want to do. Just add Krishna's holy names to your life. So, we should take advantage. We should take great advantage of what Prabhupada has given to us. Because we cannot be sure about what is going to happen to our lives. We may run into an accident. I remember, I ran into an accident in 1990 or something like that. When I was traveling, I ran into an accident. But the chanting, the practice of the chanting works. So I tell you this story. So I was traveling. I was going to the headquarters of that country, where I was going to attend to a court proceeding. Someone stole one of ISKCON vehicles, and we got him apprehended. But then the matter went to court. So I was traveling to attend that court case, and then I had a terrible accident. And what happened was that when I chatted for a long time, I was feeling tired, so I bowed my head like this. So all of a sudden I heard people shouting. The vehicle skid up the road and it's making like this. So then what flashed my mind was, oh, my life is finished. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. That was the last thing I knew I did. But then later, in the night, I found myself among dead bodies. Apparently, I was gone. Then came back to life. And I was amongst the dead bodies. But then again, the next thing that flashed my mind was, oh, I remember I was going to die, and I remember chanting Krishna's name. Why did Krishna not take me away? I passed this exam. I remember his name. So the practice works. If you practice chanting, Krishna will be merciful. That if you really want to die, you will remember Krishna's name. I mean, Ajamil really wanted to die. He remembered Krishna's name because of the pious merit accruing from his devotional input when he was younger. So there's no loss of emotion in this process. Anyone can participate. It doesn't take any rocket science to chant Hare Krishna. You don't need to go to grad degrees before you chant Hare Krishna. So we should understand Krishna and his holy name, they are not different. What happened to Ajamil is an eye-opener. Holy names, powerful. We should give time to the holy. Any comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it was very enlightening and it's inspirational also. I have a question actually rather instead of comment. So recently I heard one very senior devotee, he was distinguishing between two things. Chanting the name of Krishna at the time of death and remembering. So speaking or uttering the name Krishna and truly remembering Krishna, these two are different. That is what he was proposing. He was saying that not necessarily that if you just utter the name of Krishna, but Krishna says, Antakale tu mameva smaran utpakaleva. So smaran, he was saying the smaran is different, remembrance is different than just uttering. So just by uttering, there is no guarantee that we will go back to spiritual world. So is that true or it's
Well, if he has a reference to that, who can accept that? I believe in references. I'm sorry, I'm a scholar. I believe in references. Because Lord Krishna mentions, like you rightly cited that quotation, Yanyam Bhavi Smaran Bhava Tyajante, Antikali. So, if we are able to remember Krishna at the time of death, Krishna said, he will come to me. In fact, anywhere, anything you remember at the time of death, all of our activities will be played back like a video. And so what we remember, what we are very much accustomed to practicing, that is what we are going to remember at the time of death. you're not going to make some external input just at that moment. The things that are already there in our consciousness are going to play back. And then you spend this lot of time in Sadhu Krishna's name with this type of intensity. That will create an impression. And Krishna will enable you to remember, to remember that. And according to his statement in the Gita, whatever we remember at the time of death, we will attain that. That's what Krishna says. So if someone says something else, they should give us some citations. It's important. See, I don't like to argue with people. When someone says something with a blade of grass in my mouth, I say, all right, I know this is the Bhagavad Gita, I know this is the Bible. What you're saying, I've never heard it. Please, can you provide a reference? We should be humble enough to ask for reference. This is how I was trained in the early days when I joined the movement. Don't argue with people. I humbly ask for reference. And people don't used to like that because I remember when I was younger, when I was in New Jersey, as a brahmachari, even stories people tell, I ask for reference. And people didn't like it. But when after taking science, I went back to New Jersey to give class, and they were asking questions, and they were asking for reference. I said, but you guys don't like me to ask for reference. They said, you taught us. Yes, so we should not doubt what people say. We should be humble enough to ask for reference. Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions? Mataji, any comments or questions? You should not be left behind. In this call, we try to see that there's a balance. Women also will go back to God. That's what Krishna said in the Gita. Yes.
Maharaj, we have been recommended to chant minimum 16 rounds. But sometimes we feel 16 is all in all.
Huh?
If we complete 16 rounds, then I can do anything.
Okay.
So this mentality, how to do
Yeah, I finished my rounds. This is called I finished my rounds mentality. Okay, this beats just a bunch of problems chatting every time. So I finished my rounds. Okay, you go and rest. So, but Prabhupada said we should understand this the minimum. So I prefer that we adopt a management model or management strategy. We call it stretched goals. You can Google that well. Those of you are in the field of management. Stretched goals means that you have taken a vow to chant 16 rounds every day, minimum. Now, you can never be sure. You may fall sick one day, so bad, so terrible, that you're not able to function properly. So then your 16 rounds, you're not going to be able to chant. So when you have stretched goals, instead of chanting 16 rounds, you're chanting 32 rounds, or you're chanting 28 rounds, or you're chanting 25 rounds, or 64 rounds, or whatever. So the day you get really sick, you fall down from your platform. You fall down to 16 rounds. So you have not disobeyed your guru. You have not violated the contract you signed before the deities, the assembled devotees, and your spiritual master. So stretched goals is a strategy that we can apply in our lives to be able to rise above that I finished my round mentality. Because 16 rounds in Kali Yoga, it's not really something so great, because in most cases we are not chanting even at this time. We're not even chanting offenselessly. So it's good for us to prepare ourselves in such a way that if there is an emergency, if there is some health issues, or we get too busy one day and we're not able to meet up with the standard we set for ourselves, we may fall down to the 16 rounds. And that also, we are on the safe side. So, yeah, writing about the and insisting around finishing around mentality is a challenge because it's like something, it's a general problem, number of people, and then some people, they just struggling. They're not regulated in terms of the times they wake up from bed or the times they go to bed. And so it becomes like, when they finish the system, oh, I got a breathing space. Yes. Oh, you want to ask a question? Boy? No? Okay. Yes.
How do we overcome the negligence to hear while chanting, or the sleep even that comes without our focusing still comes
Yeah.
forward?
Offensive stage of chanting is very difficult to do. Now, you talk about sleep and what?
Sleep and inattentive, like
Inattentive.
lost.
Yes. If Prabhupada said that we should listen to the 32 syllables, Ha, Re, Krish, Na, Ra, Ma. So, those 32 syllables, it's very challenging to chant all of the 32 syllables. But we should be conscientious because this being meticulous is what merits our attainment of Krishna prayer. Those 32 syllables, anyone can chant, finish. But we should understand that we need to do it very consciously by taking into consideration. We need to chant the 32 syllables audibly to our hearing. That's a challenge. These are little details. People sometimes they don't talk about it because, oh, you finish it now, I finished my run. But these are important things we should consider to implement in our lives as sadhakas. The other thing is sleeping, feeling. If you're feeling tired, again, it's a general problem. Somebody just told me that his spouse has a problem. I said, what is the problem? He said, she feels sleepy in the morning when she's chanting. Feeling sleepy, you get up and walk. Yeah. See, that is why if we choose to sleep, to stay in our rooms and chant, we are inviting trouble, we are inviting sleep. Because, no one is there, you're not afraid of anything there, you're just by yourself in the room. You feel weak, you can just lie down in bed, what is the problem? But if you are in the temple room during the japa period, with somebody watching chanting, because there are other people there, so you don't want to mess up your life. So the remedy to feeling sleepy is that you get up, you pace your back and forth, and sleep goes on. We have a material body. We have a material body. So the impact of the modes of the effect of the modes of nature, they are still affecting us. Sleep is one of them. Sleep is the mode of ignorance. Yes.
Morning Brahma Muhurta period is quite auspicious to chant the holy name. But sometimes I experience that morning is quite difficult, but in the daytime it is quite easier. So how is it?
It's a good argument. He says, did you hear his question?
No.
He says his argument is that morning time it's not so conducive for chanting. The Brahman Muhurta hours for strategic reasons. During the daytime, things are pretty easy. During the daytime, the irony of it is during the daytime, we are operating under the control of the mode of passion. So we hardly will be able to concentrate, except we are very advanced in our chanting. And that is why even science there are developments in science which brings to bear that the best periods for productivity, for high productivity, if say you're a student or you're a teacher, best period to do your research and get maximum benefit is during the early hours of the morning. So the Brahma Muhurta is when the sages have mentioned Brahma Muhurta being the essential period for devotional cultivation. This is also being accepted by the scientists. Yeah. In fact, all of the things that are there in the Vedic literatures, if the world of science go and conduct their research, they will find the same results. And for us who have been introduced to this very phenomenon, and we think that this is all religious imposition. It's not religious imposition. The process of the Yuga Dharma is not Sankirtan movement, it's not religious imposition. It's what generally we call as a technology. When two people or two or more people come to do something together, the result is always greater than each one of them doing that same thing and bringing the different results together. Who knows the name of that model? Synergy, yeah. So, but Lord Chaitanya introduced spiritual synergy. So if you don't understand, you may say, oh, this is the Hare Krishna stuff. Because when people come together to chant the holiness, the result we get is always better than individuals chanting and bringing all of those results together. It's called synergy. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. My question is how chanting is related to remembrance, how that will convert into remembrance.
Okay, well, how chanting will convert into remembrance? If you love somebody, you glorify if about for that person. So they are chanting some glories, chanting their negative, finding fault with them all the time. There's also a process of chanting, but negative chanting. So they have a correlation. We chant Krishna's names, we remember it. The chanting means you remember the person. You're talking about something, you remember the person, is it not? So this man, they have in statistics they say high correlation. Yeah. All right. Any other comments? Yes.
Maharaj, so like sometimes no matter how much you try to finish your rounds in the morning hours, like a few rounds may be remaining. So when you try to complete it, so like for the span of the day, you just end up having other things that keep coming. So how do you try and finish those rounds in a way that they are effective to you? Because like I usually end up like I'm walking towards the bus or something, so I chant at that time. So it is anyway ineffective.
Well, it is better than not chanting. I don't really, Prabhupada goes on morning walks, and the number of devotees they go on japa walks. So it's part of the chanting. With some of us, it is better to do the first 16 rounds, not on the streets, because you have so many distractions on the street. But if you're not able to finish the 16 rounds, there's nothing wrong. It's completed then as you're going to walk in the train or in the bus or you're walking. Yeah. That should be done. That should be done. Because the devotees are busy with so many activities. Yeah. It's better to do that. All right, so in the absence of any other comments or questions, we'd like to adjourn this meeting. Seshadripuram.
Jai.
Yeah. You didn't answer the question, right?
Hare Krishna. So let us all thank Maharaj for his gracious association by one time lovely chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hey, come here. Got it. Thank you.